Why Everyone Actually Hates the X-Men, Mystique, by Schmo. Link to the original video in the description.
Mystique cannot be redeemed. No matter how popular she is, how iconic she is, her criminal history is long. This woman has murdered thousands.
All right. Hey, before we go on with the Mystique slander, I have to say that Mystique is objectively the hottest character in Marvel. Why do I say this? Because she could shapeshift. She could be any character. So, all right, let's slow down. Mystique's pretty cool, all right?
Tortured her own kind, and even shapeshifted into her own daughter, Rogue, to sleep with her boyfriend, Gambit.
What? I always overlook her, but you're right. Yeah, dude. That's wild, though. That's wild behavior from her. Also, I did not know her daughter was Rogue.
And I haven't even mentioned how she threw her own son, Nightcrawler, off a cliff and did not regret that. It's because of all the hype she has, popularity in the movies, just overall cultural dominance. People have been slowly trying to sweep everything under the rug and to sanitize her character. This all culminates in the X-Men's big wedding special.
Nightcrawler being hers? Yeah, that's weird. I don't know, the whole rewriting evil female characters to be actually heroes thing is happening a lot, like with Harley Quinn, where they're really, really trying to rebrand Harley Quinn because she, weird girls love Harley Quinn. That they're totally random, like, I'm different than the others type girl, So I like Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler's my favorite X-Men. He's definitely, like, #1 favorite X-Men. She has two sides, to be fair. Oh, no, for sure. For sure she does, but they've gone the way of sanitizing. Like, for example, Harley Quinn used to literally abuse people in an insane asylum just for fun. But now she's like, she would never have done that. She would never, like, talk down on somebody for who they are, who they were born to be. And it's like, God, Jesus Christ. Like, can we just fucking have a real character? Can we just have psychopaths? Yeah. But we can't ever forget she's a legit psychopath. No ifs, ands, or buts are about that. Yeah, it's true. But psychopaths can be a part of society. They just have to learn how. I mean, I don't agree with that, personally. I don't know, dude. Psychopaths can temporarily be a part of society, but at a certain point, they always end up doing something fucking crazy and horrible every single time, dude. I believe in asylums, straight up. I don't want them to be, but they can be. They can hide for a while, but they can never be a part of society forever. There's cases where they've done well. I mean, what a therapist will call a psychopath and what I will call a psychopath are probably two very different things. He said a woman who became a nurse. She was diagnosed for being a kid. Yeah, but that's how I feel. Being diagnosed a psychopath is, for me, is not nearly the same thing as just being a psychopath,
Ties the knot with her longtime lover, Destiny. Now, I like the relationship, but I did not like how everyone is showing up to her wedding. And the only person to point out how crazy it is my guy, Anoli, who says it's a little insane that everybody is showing up here so happy.
Well, I don't know. You said if they give in to urges, fuck them. I do feel that way, but I feel that way even more strongly where, like, so lore drop here, my uncle killed somebody and he was fucking psycho his whole life, and they knew he was psycho, and if they would have just put him in an insane asylum, he would still be alive, but also the person he killed would still be alive, so the whole sympathy or kindness to the cruel is cruelty to the kind. At a certain point, you've got to realize that there are people that just don't belong in society. And while it might make you sad to say, or make people sad, not you, but, it might make people sad to say, the truth is there are some people that just really don't belong. Yeah, it's a hard one, really. It's a gray area. I mean, for me, it's black and white, but that's because I'm crazy.
Even how horrible
that's because I'm a psychopath. No.
has been to mutants for I don't know how long, and how she's betrayed, attacked, lied, murdered her way through the entire history of the Marvel Universe. But because she's getting gay married, we gotta support. Like, we can't find any other queer representation to rally around besides Mystique.
Dog, that's crazy to be like, okay, so, wow, that's bad on so many levels, dude. All right, so they're saying that the psychopathic murderer who flips on a dime and will do anything to benefit themselves and can shapeshift into a boy or a girl at will is the best representation of queer people, and that everybody will support them no matter how many evil things they've done because now they've come out. That is a wild statement for Marvel to make without realizing they're making it. Because they meant it to be like all positive and stuff, but that's the real message that is genuinely just offensive. Like, dude, it is. It's true.
This bit of dialogue was hilarious, and I'm honestly shocked that it made it into this comic, because it does highlight how insane it is that everybody is here to support her. Like, why is Dazzler playing at her wedding after Mystique kidnapped her, impersonated her, tortured and harvested her body to make drugs to sell? Why is Carol Danvers there?
What? No. But no, she's totally cool with her now because she came out. That's crazy.
After Mystique spent years trying to kill her and fucked with her in countless ways for a future unknown crime. Why the fuck is Wolverine there when she literally sent the man's soul to hell? So
you said you're asexual and you can love either sex, but you don't want to represent you. Dude, this is crazy. This is a wild representation, dude. This is absolutely nuts.
They could use his body to kill all his loved ones. And then she told him to his face she did not regret that shit at all. In this video, I want to go over the worst things this woman has done and show you why it is insane that they let her onto that supposed mutant utopia, and also how insane it is for all of these people to show up at her wedding, starting with the wedding's priest and her greatest shame, Nightcrawler.
No.
First, let's go
fucking way, dude. I mean, I know he's Catholic, but that's crazy. Wait, he's Catholic! No fucking way is he representing this wedding. No fucking way is he doing that, dude. You gotta be kidding me. Dude is literally the Marvel symbol of Catholicism. What the fuck?
Go over the deadbeat allegations with my boy Kurt. In the new origin comic, we learn that yes, she is Nightcrawler's father, but instead of the original story of her willingly abandoning him.
Wait, she's Nightcrawler's father. So that means when she shapeshifts, she actually gets not only the sexual organs of the person, but also the actual reproductive power. So she could carry a baby for 8 months and then turn into a dude while she's carrying the baby, and now she doesn't have a womb anymore? What are the implications here? Oh shit, so can she do herself? Probably, dude. So Mystique was like the first Futanari character of all time.
She just so happens to lose him as a coincidence. No longer the cruel Mystique that threw him off a cliff as a baby. Instead, they sanitize her past once again. What's worse is the retcon
you
her
said now you love her? Oh god.
him as Destiny's plan, her wife. Because according to her, him being an outcast made him a better person. Dude, that is not how that works. Trauma is just trauma. It doesn't give you personality superpowers.
Yuck.
This reminds me so much of Harper from Industry or Jeff from
dude, talking about trauma gives me the fucking heebie-jeebies, dude. I don't like, dude. Trauma, dude. Everybody's life was hard. Get over yourself. Your worst day was no worse in your mind than someone else's worst day in their mind. Your worst is still their worst. The worst can only be the worst. Like, everybody had a fucking problem. Get over yourself. Oh, my trauma is holding me back. Well, then that means you're weak and stupid. You get to it and start fucking getting over your trauma and getting over yourself and figuring yourself out and stop being weak about it and talking about it.
Community. These adults in your life who do you dirty and then suddenly take ownership of your accomplishments. Well, you did turn out okay, so maybe you did a good thing by abandoning you. That is insane logic, Destiny. This gets even more sanitized as Xavier is approached by them and they ask him to please scramble their brains. Please make them forget. Which Xavier loves to hear that.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Nasty.
Fucking nasty ass, yeah, nasty fucking telepaths, dude. Gross. Kill them all. Get rid of the telepaths.
A little telepath. Now, Nightcrawler, this man is made of pure goodness because he embraces his piece of shit parents and forgives her almost immediately. It reminds you of the
he's Catholic, so love thy parents is literally baked into his belief system. Or honor thy parents.
Clip from the original animated series that always makes me tear up, where Nightcrawler, after hearing his own mom say that he was inconvenient and that she did not want him because he ruined her social status as a rich lady, he says, "I will beg God to bestow his grace on me so I can learn forgiveness. And then I will beg God to bestow his grace on you so you can forgive yourself." What a kind soul. While Nightcrawler might be cool with his deadbeat piece of shit parents, I seriously don't know how Rogue is. In the same comic, Destiny says they have to raise Rogue, which becomes more and more confusing the more you think about how badly Mystique treated her own child, and the fact that Destiny knows this as she can see the future. She knows that they are horrible parents for Rogue that lead her to a pretty terrible upbringing, yet they choose to raise her over Nightcrawler for whatever reason. And if you want a story to prove how depraved Mystique is around her own kid, Rogue, let me show you this one. Now, Mystique has more crimes than I can count, so unfortunately all of them won't make it in this video, like the time that she stabbed Rogue, or also shot her in the chest, or how she's a double deadbeat, abandoning her son Great and Creed. However, I want to focus on her fuck-ups with Rogue, and how she uses her shape-shifting abilities to traumatize her even further. In X-Men 1991, issue 171 and 172, we have a pretty weird story in a pretty mid-run. There is this new
Dog, traumatized. This guy can't fucking help himself, dude.
Student at the school named Fox with 2 X's, and she's assigned to be in Gambit's class and will not let this man live in peace. Like, she literally shows up, lays it on thick with Gambit, wanting him badly, gets rejected after perving on him in the shower, talking about his libido like a little freak, and continues pestering him all throughout the day. This all comes to a head when Gambit wakes up having dreams of her. Then Emma tries to help Gambit and Rogue have telepathic sex and intimacy, but unfortunately Fox has planted the seed that pops up during their lovemaking, forcing Gambit to see his student instead of his girlfriend, which of course causes all kinds of problems. What's even crazier is the other students literally jump Gambit for quote-unquote preying on a young student and abusing your status as a mentor. While I do respect the intention, it is a little crazy to do this.
Dog, he had a dream, dude. You can't help, like, that's crazy, dude. And he was actively seeking out help to stop it. That's wild, actually.
Because, mind you, this man has rejected her publicly multiple times.
Yeah.
Bro, this is wicked. Now, after a bunch of boring blah 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 forced conflict between Rogue and Gambit, he says he'll prove his love to her by transferring Fox to another X-Men's mentorship. Now, of course, she keeps on trying to flirt with him and getting closer, seducing him as Gambit is noticing her body weirdly changing shape. He screams, "You don't know what I want." She says, "But I do," as we see her shift and Gambit is just shocked. Then we have the reveal. Fox is actually Mystique in disguise. She created this false identity to seduce Gambit for whatever reason.
That's wild.
And after the reveal, you'd think she'd stop persisting, but she keeps on pushing it. Well, Gambit says, "For God's sake, lady, Rogue is your own stepdaughter. Don't you have any morals?"
Wait, stepdaughter. Did I miss something? So it's not her actual daughter at all? Oh, that changes a lot.
This is a bullshit manipulator tactic of saying, "Oh, I was testing you."
Also, what the fuck is with this weird porn angle? Oh no, my girlfriend's stepmom is coming on to me. Like,
I underestimated you. I thought you'd definitely cheat on my daughter. And you're thinking, okay, this is weird, but at least she was trying to protect Rogue, I guess. But then the conversation gets even weirder. She says that the idea of hooking up with him repels her as much as it does him, but that he needs a physical release. Ew. This is disgusting.
This was literally written by a fucking porn director, for sure. What the fuck?
Bro, I have never seen a mother act like this around her daughter's boyfriend and not have some weird complex. Disgusting stuff. Gambit says, "You know what, fuck transferring you, I will get you expelled." But when he turns around, Mystique pulls an amethyst from Steven Universe and turns into Rogue, knowing full well how badly Gambit loves and wants to make love to his girlfriend, but he cannot. Dude is literally begging her to please stop, but she keeps on pushing him. She posits this as a reward for quote-unquote passing the test.
At this point, the Marvel writers are just writing fan fiction, and really weird fan fiction at that, dude. You're right. Oh my god.
And being a one-woman man, and that this isn't really cheating because it's Rogue, right? Wrong. You disgusting, shape-shifting creature. What is wrong with you? This is the woman they want you to show up to the wedding for. This is the woman Rogue is all giddy about, saying some corny joke about them being gay and doing crimes. These are sex crimes,
Also,
Rogue.
she's not, Mystique isn't gay if she's literally a man and a woman. Like, if Mystique is whatever she wants to be, whenever he wants to be, whatever you want to call Mystique, if they can literally impregnate somebody and be pregnant, then they're not a gay character at all. What? Am I missing something?
Not the cool kind. This story arc goes on for a bit more, but Gambit thankfully reveals he ends up doing nothing with Mystique. However, Mystique has one little trick up her sleeve and fucks with Rogue some more. After getting interrogated by her, Mystique turns into Gambit, which is so gross. I am telling
What
you,
the
this
fuck?
woman is depraved. However, it only really gets worse from here. Now you guys know how much I hate Wolverine, but I can at least admit he can be a decent guy most of the time. However, he is a mass murderer. I spoke about how
Yeah, I mean, I guess that depends on your ideology, personally, but I don't know. I guess that would make Mystique a trans character, for sure. So depending on your ideology and what you think about that, for me personally, when it comes to that stuff, I just tune the hell out. I'm just like, dude, I don't even care. Like, I just don't. I'm so over it. I just don't even want to hear about it anymore. Really, it just comes down to the writers and what they want to jerk off to. I mean, write about. True.
he ends up killing his own children in Wolverine 2010, but before that takes place, there is an even weirder arc that preludes it. Because in issue 1, we learn that Mystique has been working with the Red Right Hand to send Wolverine's soul to hell and use his body to kill his loved ones, as we see him massacre the small town church and become the Hellverine. Now Mystique does decide to become a turncoat and save Wolverine's girlfriend, but this is not her being a good person really. I mean, when she's pressed on the issue, she does admit to the girlfriend that she did send Wolverine to hell, but she won't say her reasons for helping his soul return to his body. At this point in the story, you're thinking, man, I guess Mystique might not have a heart of gold, but maybe a tiny nugget of gold in there somewhere.
No.
Wrong. In issue 9, we see Mystique try to fend off Wolverine, and at the same
But
time,
also, like, all right, let's talk about this, because whether you're pro-trans, anti-trans, or where I'm at, and you just don't give a fuck at all, this is a very anti-trans story to be telling, right? Like, this is for sure, and it's gonna piss off both sides, because there's gonna be one side that's gonna go, I don't want this shit, I hate this, right? And then there's gonna be another side that goes, why are you showing the most evil, manipulative psychopath as our representation? So on either side, you've got everybody pissed off and thinking that you're an idiot. So, like, these comic book writers, dude, it's crazy.
warn him about the Red Right Hand, saying it's a trap. Why she cares to save
Yeah,
him
it's just
now,
bad story.
I have
True.
zero clue. Wolverine is sick of her shit though, and attacks, of course. At that same moment, this assassin comes, and they team up for a tiny bit to fight him off.
Well,
And
and that's how you can tell when something is written with ideology rather than actual creativity, is whenever they take a character like Mystique, who's objectively evil, and then try to make her into a symbol for trans people, and now everybody loves her, and in the process, you're just creating all way more issues than you ever needed, like, but at the same time, like, I don't know, there's no nice way to do this, there's no clever way to do this, and comic books are the one place where you can more explore, like, the fucking sexual sides of characters, right? Because it is kind of like a soap opera in a way. It's a soap opera with action. But there are classy ways to do it, and then there are really bad ways to do it. And this is a really bad way to do it. It's Iceman, I think, is an excellent way to do it, to the point to where it's kind of implied that when they first started, he wasn't gay, but to get revenge, Rogue changed his mind to turn him into a gay man. That's just, or not Rogue, Jean Grey. Yeah. So that's just, like, very subtly implied, but I love that shit like that is funny, but also it creates the representation and allows you to retcon somebody, you know? And then that's only just a theory too. That the truth of the comic is that he just came out, which is fine, and he remained a good character. But that it's whenever you create a story that's good enough, you'll get people theorizing about it, and that's the difference, right? I guess. I
That
don't know.
moment where his guard is down, Mystique tells him, "Yeah, I'm really not sorry that I sent you to hell. I made you fight horrors beyond human comprehension, because you kill people and betray people, so you definitely deserve it. Unlike me, of course, I'm a good person." She then tells him she only helped him because of Nightcrawler, the same son she threw off a cliff and refuses to connect with. But I know
Did it say BAMF when he hit the ground? What the hell?
that it's not canon anymore. However, what gets worse about the story is only a few arcs later do we see Wolverine in yet another big battle in which he gets drugged, beat up, and starts seeing stuff, and then he does go into berserker mode. That of course includes him getting with this woman here. It's kind of a wild visual for them to be hooking up on top of all these bodies, but hey man,
Pretty cool
this is
visual.
Wolverine we're talking about. He is depraved. Not as depraved as someone else, however.
Nah, Wolverine's the man.
Because
for
we
that.
see the woman that he thought he was hooking up with finally arrive and say, "Damn, smells like somebody's clapping cheeks here." And at that same time, we see Mystique walk out,
Oh my
transforming
God.
into a regular body.
So she just tricks, dude. All right. So Marvel's symbol of trans representation is a person who goes around and tricks people into having sex with her, and then uses their sexuality as a weapon. Holy shit. Dude, if you handed this to the most like anti-trans person in the world possible, if you handed them Marvel, they would not come up with a story like this. They wouldn't be able to do this. That's crazy talk, dude. That's fucking hilarious.
narrating to herself on how proud she is that it worked. That she was able
Yeah, no, I mean, I would. She said maybe she's just a bad person that happens to be trans rather than representation. I don't know. Well, see, I would be there with you. I would allow for that thought in my brain if we didn't already have the context of the wedding where everybody came out and told her how great she was and how happy they were for her, and all these people she wronged showed up. So she clearly is pushed as the representation, and it's wild there.
to slip past Wolverine's advanced senses because again, he was drugged and was able to record them having sex, thinking that he was getting with someone else. Of course, she's going to use this tape for blackmail and sabotage and all kinds of stuff, but just this act alone was insanely gross, man. When I saw Dazzler being the
Although,
one
to be fair, that is very much in line with spy work. So there's female spies. What a lot of people think about when they think of a female spy, they just think of a female James Bond. But that's not how it is. Most of the time, a female spy is someone who comes in and sleeps with somebody for either for blackmail purposes or to get in close to get more info. The sexuality is a powerful weapon.
play at Mystique's wedding, I was shocked. I admit I am an X-Men casual, so I don't know everything that happens, but I have read the Bendis stuff, and if I remember correctly, Mystique did her dirty. In Uncanny X-Men 2013, we learned that the Dazzler we've been following for the past few issues was not Dazzler at all, but was Mystique in disguise. Magneto discovers this as she tries selling him on the idea of Madripoor being the new Genosha mixed in with Las Vegas. She even tells him she has Dazzler somewhere captured, so she can take her place and play both sides. Now Magneto loses it and tries to kill all of them, escaping and destroying the building. A few issues later, we see the real Dazzler drugged up with the needles poking out of her, eyes covered, and completely sedated. Mystique shows up with Sabretooth and calls her a traitor to her people, like that's the real reason why she's doing this. In reality, she is siphoning off her mutant hormones or whatever to package as a drug and sell to the people of Madripoor to maintain power and status. Now after Mystique is done shit-talking her and draining her body, you're thinking, well, at least Dazzler won't remember any of this. I mean, she must be in some kind of drug-induced coma, right? But the most heartbreaking line happens after the two leave, and we see Dazzler say, ow, meaning she can feel all of this and is completely
Oh my
aware of
god.
what happened to her and what is happening to her. And what is all of this for? So Mystique can get paid, and so Blob can get high and rampage downtown in Madripoor. Look at this disgusting junkie. When he
Gluttony.
goes back to get high again, Magneto shows up to finish the job that he started. He rants and raves at Blob for turning into a junkie and looks over at the bed, realizing they're using their own kind, a mutant, Dazzler, as their
Oh,
supply
man.
for
That would piss Magneto off.
their high. Magneto's rage overcomes him and allows an attunement to his powers. He didn't really have a whole lot during this arc, and he almost kills Blob. But then we have this panel here where he remembers how they met all those years ago, and he shows
wow.
mercy, telling him to leave. As he unplugs Allison Blair, Dazzler, to finally be free. Now later, Dazzler does get her revenge by capturing Mystique for S.H.I.E.L.D., even though she really wanted to kill her. What's even worse is that Mystique is directly responsible for this fugly ass redesign for Dazzler.
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Christ, you do not have that shit on. Okay, this should be enough to convince you that it was not only insane
What the hell happened
to
to
let this
Marvel?
woman on Krakoa, but for all of those people to show up for her shame of a wedding. Please comment other characters or moments I should cover. Like the
Wow.
video, hype it up if
That was a wild ride right there. Holy shit. I had no idea that Mystique was like the most bigoted character in the entire world. That's funny. I love that. That's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life, dude. What the fuck? Oh man, if you, like I said, if you straight up handed that to that most bigoted chud you could think of, or however you want to put it, they would not be able to come up with something as crazy as that. That's a whole nother level. Oh my god, dude. That reminds me of Community. When Jeffrey Winger says, I guess it turns out that not being racist is the new racist.